Hello and welcome to La Rosa Reads. I'm Denise La Rosa, and today I am super duper excited to participate in Nonfiction November. Let's talk books. Yay! Here we are in the month of November, and it is Nonfiction November in the book world, and we have to give some flowers to the creator of Nonfiction November, Olive, from her book Olive. You guys hear me talk about her quite often. She is a wonderful human being, my dear, dear friend, and I couldn't be more happy, I couldn't be happier is the proper way to say it, couldn't be happier to participate in Nonfiction November for the very first time. Not too long ago, Olive shared with all of us the 4 prompts, the 4 words that are a part of Nonfiction November for this year. Those words are record, element, border, and secret. So today, I'm going to share with you what's on my TBR for November that follows those 4 prompts. Those of you who are regulars to La Rosa Reads have seen me talk about this book recently, and it falls under the record prompt for Nonfiction November, and it is This Is What It Sounds Like. Oh my goodness, what the music you love says about you. This book takes a deeper scientific look at why we love the music that we love. What draws us to that music? What psychologically, neurologically draws us to this music? It's not just about the feeling, it's the science behind that feeling. And for someone who is a music lover through and through like myself, who also is proud to say that I have an eclectic taste in music that spans a wide range of genres, I am looking for understanding, having a better understanding and knowledge of why I love the music I love. Also, Olive, who recommended this book in one of her recent videos, shares with us the Spotify playlist that goes with this book. So there's a lot of songs mentioned in this book. And so if you want to check that out, I will link her video in the description box below. I am excited to go on this wild ride, and it's giving me all the Prince vibes. I might break out Purple Rain and watch that as well, just to, get into the mood for this book. So this book falls under the record prompt for Nonfiction November. Perhaps my favorite prompt for this Nonfiction November journey this year is element. It's interesting how you can take these words, these prompts, and make them your own. And for me personally, I'm talking about books that are in my element or in a relative's element of everything from interests and hobbies, careers, you name it. So I am going to have fun reading about a career that my brother was a part of, a field that is so important to all of us. Our first responders are truly our heroes. And this book is American Sirens, the incredible story of the Black men who became America's first paramedics, which happens to take place in the city of Pittsburgh. I am so excited to read about our first responders and those parts of us that have connected with first responders in some way or another. Whether you needed help and got help from a first responder on a personal level or a relative, or you've been on the scene where you've seen a first responder come, we owe so much to these first responders. And I just really want to learn about how this field of being a paramedic, how did it come to be? And specifically, the first paramedics, these Black men who were the pioneers of this important field, this important work. I cannot wait to explore this because my brother has been, I should say, a paramedic. He's a physician assistant now, and I just love him so much, and I think this will help me to better understand his experience as a paramedic. This is going to be quite the read. There she is, Miss America. There she is, your ideal, the dream of a million girls who are more than pretty. They come true in Atlantic City, for they may turn out to be the queen of femininity. There she is. How do I know the words to this song? Well, yours truly used to be a competitor in the Miss America system of pageants in the state of West Virginia. It is one of those things where I was a pageant girl who wasn't a pageant girl. I had competed in a local pageant in my hometown, and one of the judges was a judge and pageant owner, if you will, of a local pageant that's in the Miss America system and pulled me aside and said, "You could be the first Black Miss West Virginia." That did not come true. However, I had quite the wild experience of diving into what that life is like. It is completely another world. And so I want to journey back to that element that I was in back in the early 2000s by reading There She Was, The Secret History of Miss America. Secret is also one of the words, one of the prompts. And so I feel like this book falls under both element and secret. There is a lot going on in the world of Miss America. I know some secrets firsthand, and I am excited to discover some more. I absolutely love cats. I am a cat lover. If I could own about, I don't know, maybe 10 cats, I would. And so here we have The Lion in the Living Room. This book, much like Razorblade Tears and Passing, is a frequent visitor to La Rosa Reads videos. I have yet to read this book, and I purchased it in March, and I am excited to use Nonfiction November to dive into my element of being a cat lover. The subtitle is How Cats Tamed Us and Took Over the World, and I truly feel that cats take over the world. They take over your lives, your home, in the most loving way. They are really animals that I absolutely am curious about. I am captivated and just spellbound by following them and trying to get into their minds of like, what are you thinking? They have a combination of being those loving pets, but yet having a mind all their own. And if they're not feeling it, they'll let you know. So what will this book uncover? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out in Nonfiction November. Jumping back to the prompt record, I am going to take a journalistic approach with this book and use the term record as far as record keeping, diving into some historical truths by reading this library book that is late. Sorry, to my local library. I promise I'll return it after Nonfiction November, and it is A Princess Found, An American Family, an African Chiefdom, and the Daughter Who Connected Them All. This woman that we see pictured here was adopted by a white family, I believe, in the state of West Virginia, my home state. Shout out to wild, wonderful West Virginia. And little does she know, she is a descendant, a princess, an African princess. And so her worlds collide and she learns more about herself and her history while also valuing and holding on to the life that she has come to know. I am excited to read this book. My dear friend Amanda, who had visited La Rosa Reads earlier this year, told me about this book and she said it would be my vibe, and I'm sure it will be. So, no, Nonfiction November will be the time that I will read A Princess Found. All right, y'all, this book covers 3 prompts. No, all 4 prompts. It is a record of capturing this a wide span of time of facts and history and the present. It is also a book that falls under the prompt of border. Okay, so we're going across the border, traveling overseas to another country to uncover some interesting things, including some secrets. That prompt number 3, it's full of secrets and probably scandals. And it's a guilty pleasure of mine, I have to admit, which comes to element. I am in my element whenever I'm reading and exploring anything that has to do with the royal family, particularly because I am a huge fan and admirer of Princess Diana, the People's Princess. And quite frankly, I had no interest in the rest of the royal family. But since her passing, since her death, I do occasionally find myself being intrigued by the rest of the royal family and finding out like more about them to help me better understand the circumstances that Princess Diana was living under, which were quite frankly not ideal. This book, it's a chunker and it's full of salacious secrets, I'm sure. It's called The Palace Papers Inside the House of Windsor, The Truth and the Turmoil. You'll notice it has a Target sticker of 30% off. I think it's safe for me to say and accurate for me to say this is the first book I've purchased at Target. When I go to Target, I don't want to buy a book. I'm buying plenty of other things. I tend to like to purchase my books from indie bookstores and my local Barnes & Noble. But I digress. So we have this author, Tina Brown, who is well-versed in all things royal family. You'll see her offering commentary and insight in various media outlets and platforms whenever there's discussions about the royal family. I'm really curious to see what Tina Brown has to say about all four of these women who are part of the royal family. And please don't mess with Meghan. Like, enough, y'all. Like, enough. No matter how you feel about her, like, the media can be brutal. Just leave her alone. But I'm going to give it a go, y'all. And Nonfiction November just may be the time for me to do just that. This one, I have a feeling I may not get to, or it may be one that I think, let me read this one so I feel accomplished because it is a shorter read. That book is about Eleanor Roosevelt. It's Eleanor in the Village, Eleanor Roosevelt's Search for Freedom and Identity in the New York's Greenwich Village. This is the book that I purchased, one of the books that I purchased at Strand in New York City back in March. So yes, this has been collecting dust on my bookshelf, but I'm hoping Nonfiction November will be a good time to read it. It just gives me some cozy fall curling up on the couch and reading with a cup of coffee, taking those sips. But who knows? I just know that Eleanor Roosevelt is someone that I quote quite often, and yet and still I feel like I don't really know her that well. And I find it to be an interesting idea to learn more about who this woman was through a book that's exploring some aspect of her that maybe the general public isn't quite as aware of. So this might be an interesting read for Nonfiction November. Last but not least, a book that I purchased about a year ago, Friday Black. This is a collection of short stories, and I thought Black Friday happens the day after Thanksgiving, so why not have fun with words and read Friday Black? I am not quite sure if I'm going to get to it. It doesn't really fall into the Nonfiction November plans that I have. Nonetheless, I think it would be a fun time to read this collection of short stories. And I spoke about this book in, a video that I recorded quite a while ago, my Diverse Spines book tag and book haul. So if you want to learn more about what these short stories reveal, what they grapple with, check out that video. It will tell you more. And who knows, maybe I'll read this on Black Friday. Yay, I did it! My husband didn't think I could, but I did. Here are all the books that I hope to get to in the month of November, Nonfiction November. And what are you planning to do? Are you participating in Nonfiction November? If so, what do you plan on reading? If you're not planning on participating in Nonfiction November, I'd still love to know what you're up to. So let me know by hopping over to the comments below and we can talk it up. And until next time, happy reading. Toodles!